What's even less well known, a history struggling to be told, is the degree to which other daring groups of inspired madmen were also profoundly influential. The Diggers from the 60s, Survival Research Labs, a group whose events were so dangerous that they have been blacklisted by the San Francisco Fire Department, Cycleside, the world's first punk rock bicycle troupe, and many more. And then, and this is what almost nobody knows, there are the groups that came later, who didn't build Burning Man, though they are often composed of people who had helped, but who operated in its shadow, pushing the envelope of what was possible. Very few of them were public-facing, the most open being the San Francisco Institute of Possibility, the SFIOP, which was entirely above ground and open to anyone who wanted to join. Groups like the Mystic Midway and Hoax put on shows, and thus were open to the extent you could get a ticket or a job. The Jejune Institute and the Latitude Society both played at being secret organizations. They were difficult to get into, but they were in fact open to the public if you could stumble or work your way in. But most of these groups were either ad hoc. There was nothing to join if you weren't already in the scene, or they had strict rules about when someone could or couldn't acknowledge their existence, and anyone who violated them was forever banned from their presence. Even writing this book, I'm not going to tell you who they are because I'd like to keep attending some of their events. Put all this together, and you have over 30 years of an extraordinary countercultural record, a rich set of heroes to be cheered and stories to be told, of parties and art events that were psychology experiments, and magical rituals attempting to connect the profane with the ineffable. It's a history that must be recorded. This book is not that history. This book is an explanation of what they learned, how they did it. This book is the theory of experience design that came out of their practice, a how-to manual for creating breakthrough experiences as individuals and communities, for living a life that connects the profane with the ineffable, to turn your life into art. It is a practical how-to manual, but it will not cover a lot of the superficial aspects of what is now increasingly referred to as experience design. Go to an immersive design summit, the first of which was held in San Francisco in 2017 because the scene was so active, and you'll hear a lot about narrative structure and how to branch decisions in creating experiences for political action and acquiring funding and related things. And these are all useful and worth talking about if you want to design a conference icebreaker, but they are what you talk about when you're not talking about the real thing. The experiences that fundamentally change lives, that touch souls, that feel like impossible magic rather than merely good design. This book is about how the San Francisco scene did what made it special, and then never wrote it down because everybody who needed to know already knew. It's what geniuses talked about over drinks as they planned impossible things, not what they talked to prospective employers about after they professionalized. At the end, it will be a manifesto explaining why ragtag groups of weirdo artists have been so good at this, and why big money corporations filled with equally talented people have been so bad. We can help big corporations and political activists and municipal theater troupes alike get better at it, but experience design at this level, at these heights, will always require freaks and monks devoted to their craft above all else. It's not just about talent, it's about what you're willing to risk. Me and my sources. This is as close as we're going to get to a history lesson in this book. You can skip this part if you just want to get right to the bit about how to create experiences that lead to psychological breakthroughs that change the lives of everyone you know. Take a moment and decide if you're in a hurry. Okay? Great. This scene, as I said, has many cultural heroes. I am not one of them. But I am the guy who many of the cultural heroes of this scene talk to, and who some of them turn to synthesize their ideas into words. In 2007, I met John Law, one of the key founders of Burning Man, one of the founders of the Cacophony Society, a member of the Suicide Club, and a legendary urban explorer to this day. We became friends and began a series of conversations about that culture.
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.